This week on RSBANDB Update, membership prices increase and grandfather rates largely disappear. With Treasure Hunter removed, some increase was inevitable, but do these changes go one step too far for RuneScape's core base? Also, Dungeoneering Remastered and combat patch notes. This is RSBANDB Update, episode 1080, recorded Thursday, March 12th, 2026. Let them eat sandwiches. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of RSBANDB Update. We have an episode chock full of content this week, talking on everything from those increased membership prices, the disappearance of grandfathered rates for some people, the Dungeoneering Remaster, and everything that's been happening in combat since the combat update. Tanis, you're here. Welcome back.
Thank you, Shane. You know, I said in the beginning of the year, I don't want to do controversy this year. We're going to have a good year. I'm only going to come on and talk about fun, good stuff. And yet, here we are.
It's important. It's important because this is a big deal.
Out of all the things that we took behind the shed and old Yellard, I never thought it was going to be Grandpa.
Lo and behold, there we are. Pernasius also here, everyone's second favorite Australian.
Yeah, 2 steps forward, 1 step back.
And Zant, you initially agreed to come on the show before all the membership price stuff broke. We thought we'd just be talking about Dungeoneering and maybe the player avatar rework.
Hello, I am just here.
He's going, damn! I thought I was just having a nice, easy one.
Because we were supposed to get a blog post this week on player avatar rework as well. And we were hoping that would land in time to go with the Dungeoneering rework, because
what about the Havenheim blog? What about that one too?
That too.
Yeah, that's what I was looking forward to. I want to see those environments.
We learned that your favorite skill is actually Dungeoneering.
I mean, that's not saying much. I don't like many RuneScape skills, but yes, it is.
Nonetheless, that I might be dropping.
It's not a skill.
I might be dropping subtle nods to the Dungeoneering monthly bit that we just finished recording, available now to Patreon members. We'll talk a little bit about that later, but there is a group of people out there, the experienced tier Patreon members, who know exactly what was in that episode. Those people are Amos Reed, Bladecom, Dominic R., Jade Gizmo, Jason S., Jesse W., Julia W., Kesky, Lemon Lodge, Luminos, Ricky A., Oasis, Smavin, Snail Mage, The Naked Captain, and Tim. Big, huge thank you to all of our experienced here Patreon members. Without them, we would not be doing this podcast. You'll hear more about our Patreon offerings and what we did for Dungeoneering a little bit later in the show. But in the meantime, if you want to follow along, full show notes can be found over at update.show. We also have our friends chatting game that you can find at Bits Bytes, and the community Discord is over at update.show/Discord. But without getting too far off the beaten track here, membership prices go up. Kind of inevitable, I think.
Oh, it was, yeah, of course. I mean,
100%.
We said back in the show when they said they were taking away MTX that this had to happen. So membership prices themselves going up is, yep, I mean, I expected it.
That's not a surprise, I don't think.
No,
Well,
not at all.
And I think we need to make a distinction right off the bat that I feel like the outrage and the justifiable outrage isn't about the price increase in of itself. I feel like that has hardly anything to do with it. It's the way this is being done and what feels like a betrayal.
Specifically the grandfathered rates.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So just to lay down the numbers here on the table here. US, euros, and Great British pounds are all increasing by one of their relative currency. So US goes from $13.99 to $14.99 monthly, euros $12.49 to $13.49, and pounds $9.99 to $10.99. Pern, I understand the situation a little bit worse in Australia.
Yeah, I mean, I think at the moment, and I was just trying to find the price, and I can't see it now. I looked at it before, but anyway, yeah, I think at the moment it's around $16 or $17, and it's going to $20.99.
Yikes!
And if you were a loyal member and you had that old $8.49 subscription, but
Good
when they
luck
bought
getting
out
Good luck getting
loyalty, bring out the loyalty club, so you signed up for that and paid for every year, and often had 2 memberships on that. Well, screw you, you're going on to $20.99. You don't get your old $8.49 one back.
The more eye-watering thing is the yearly increases in the 12-month package. The Americans and the European people are seeing about a 33% increase on their yearly package, from $99 to $48 USD to $131.88, $132 almost for the membership yearly. And they say, this still represents the best value for a large portion of our subscribers. And yes, that's true to a degree, but with that, you're still looking at, a $10.99 per month membership price there.
And just to do for Australia, I've just looked that up because we tested before the show whether my $8.49 would be there, and it wasn't. This year I've paid $143 for both accounts memberships. It's going up to $186 a year.
And I will say, when it comes to just the price increase of itself, the fact that they didn't say that there's going to be differences like regionally just because of currency being different. They literally said it could be anything. We could just feel like things are getting a little hairy.
Yeah, my understanding is that South America is getting it pretty hard with this one.
Yeah, and so that's like, that doesn't feel right. There's just so much about it that doesn't feel right. People knew they would be paying more, I think, when they voted.
Yep.
And I think, a lot of people are wanting to point that out, like, oh, well, you voted for it. And granted, part of me is like, yes.
But there are those of us who were on the fence.
This is underhanded. Yes.
And if it were a real poll, there are those of us who might have voted no.
Mm-hmm.
Well, depending on what angle you look at this from,
didn't vote because I knew it was happening.
I mean, isn't this technically the second price increase since we started talking about removing Treasure Hunter?
Yeah, the last one was in 2024, about 18 months ago.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people bring that up as like a rebuttal to, oh, well, we saw this coming. I mean, the fact that they basically already did it, like the second they asked about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I mean, I kind of expected to get more price increases to begin with because of Treasure Hunter being removed, obviously. But yeah, the way that this has kind of happened just feels a little sour.
Yeah.
And the way that, like, here's what those critics are not thinking about. When people say we're used to people saying, that's it, I'm out, I'm done. And there's different reasons for that. But when we have seen people max Exodus before, it has been for things exactly like this. It is not about the price.
Remember the memberships, the conjoint membership survey that you said, oh, this was just done by a third-party partner. But in many cases, the price increases they talked about were in this 33% ballpark.
And at some point, you get, and we'll talk about later, but at some point, there is value that you're getting out of it and that you're paying for. And it could be too much. And
yeah, because I want to bring out one specific point with that, is that now we're at the point where a single month of RS membership is the same price as World of Warcraft or Final Fantasy XIV membership. And in both those MMOs, you get multiple characters.
Yeah, it doesn't feel worth it to me at all.
That's wild. I remember being a kid playing this game, looking at WoW, thinking, wow, that's $15 a month.
Yes.
And here we are.
That's what I mean. If you're charging me $21 a month, I would expect all my characters be able to play under that membership. I wouldn't expect to have to pay per character.
But here's the unfortunate reality. There is no substitute for RuneScape. You might be able to say that certain MMOs are a substitute for RS3, but there is no substitute for OSRS, which makes it an inelastic good, which means they can increase the price and people will still pay to play. It's as simple as that. They can get away with this.
But don't you think when it comes to games that, or maybe any service, but especially with a game, there comes a point where you're just not getting, no matter how fun the game is, you're not getting your money's worth. You know, like you're just not getting your money's worth.
Well, I mean,
I'll just cancel my HBO subscription because the same thing. I mean, I was watching 1 or 2 shows a week, and I'm going, well, I'll just get it for a month here and there, binge watch a bunch of stuff, and drop it again. Why am I paying for a whole year when I'm getting 2 or 3 hours a week out of it? And that may be the way that RuneScape ends up being. It's got some new stuff on it. I'll take a month or 2 membership and then just drop it again.
Yeah, definitely. And it's going to be called leagues. That's when I'll pay for leagues.
Yeah.
And I'll see you later, boys.
You guys are not the first people I've heard that from. We'll talk more about, all the people I've heard from on grandfathered rates.
And I'm talking
with that.
Yeah, I know I'm talking value for money at the moment, and we've got Haven Height, and we've got some good things coming up, and depending how they hit, and if they're good and value, and I can see, okay, I am going to get my 15, 20 hours a week out of this value, then yeah, I'll keep going. But if I'm not going to get that, then it's like, well, why am I paying $200 a year?
And when you put it in that perspective for what RS is, $200 a year, there's other things you could put that $200 to.
Exactly.
And on top of that, how do you make this argument in a year where you're taking away more content than you're putting in? Okay, you're getting Haven Heights, but all under the guise of integrity, which once again, that vote felt good, didn't it? Felt good.
Well, it never felt good.
But you mentioned content, and this is actually a good time. Okay, go ahead, Per.
Can I just say, all the stuff, I mean, as I said, I've been a loyalty club member since day one, but they've taken all this stuff that I paid for through those accounts, they're taking off me, and now they're also saying, well, thank you for being a loyal member. Bend over, because we're not going to give you your old grandfathered rate anymore because you've been running a loyalty member for 10 years. So not only are we taking away all that stuff that you paid for through your loyalty club, we're not going to honor your grandfather rate, and we're going to take even more, and we're going to put the price up on you.
Yeah. And that's a very key point, because, if we look at in particularly the results from fiscal year 24. We don't have 2025 yet. Let's just do some quick back-of-the-envelope math here. So they had $118.4 million in subscription revenue in 2024. Thank you to Lemon for discussing this with me earlier this afternoon. If you break that out, that's £9.87 million a month. And if you assume an average membership price of £10, that means you have about 1 million active subscribers a month. So with that, a £1 increase in membership would equate to £1 a month, or roughly 12 million pounds a year. And we figure that's probably at the low end. But if we want to highball it instead, let's take that same 118.4 million and then assume 1 in 5 are grandfathered. And I think that's probably being generous. Results in 80% of subscribers seeing an increase of some type. And let's just assume that the bulk of these are on the yearly subscription, because I think most dedicated RS players are. That results anywhere between $25 and $30 million a year in increased subscription revenue. Now, the first case makes a dent in the loss of microtransaction revenue, and the latter case absolutely obliterates that loss. And when you put it in
I
that
don't think it's as
perspective,
generous as
you
think,
see why
Shane.
they did this. What was that, Tannis?
And especially,
I was just saying, I don't know if it's as generous as what you think. I mean, I think this game has such a core audience that there's so, I think there's a lot of perns, there's a lot of Premier. It may be more than 1 in 5. Either
it's
way,
gonna.
it doesn't matter. That just makes it even worse. But it
As I said, for a lot of people,
might be
because I
more.
know, yeah, I reckon 1 in 5 is being too generous. I reckon it'd be more like 1 in 8, 1 in 10. So
In terms
I
of
don't
people
know.
being grandfathered, which allows them to
Yeah.
net even more and more money
yeah,
from this. And that kind of explains, the prices and the money side behind it. But another interesting thing that we need to talk about with this is that OSRS players now are directly subsidizing the removal of Treasure Hunter and MTX from RS3. They have more
they'd have to be
subscriptions.
now. Yeah.
They have more people playing. And they're getting shafted even harder as a result of this. They have lost projects in RS, which was their custom world thing that was supposed to come out this year. Their plugin hub is nowhere to be seen. HD mode is delayed. Botting is still a significant issue going forward with real-world trading. And there is no headlining content aside from temporary game events until this summer, when you have the Vampire finale after Leagues. And then after that, you have the next raid coming sometime this fall. So as a result of that, OSRS players are being asked to pay 30% more. For what content? I don't know. In many ways, they have it worse than we do on the RS3 side, and they are actively now subsidizing the removal of Treasure Hunter from RS3. And I don't,
that's right, because,
and we're primarily an RS3 show. And the thing that I walk away from with this is the realization that we have a bit of content this year. Road to Restoration, Haven Hive, and other leagues and so on and so forth throughout the year. They don't. And they're being asked to pay this price too.
But
Well,
they have access to both games, Shane.
They do.
But here's the other thing
They
about
do, but the thing is that there is still a substantial portion of those OSRS players who don't want to come over.
Of course, and I was being pedantic there, but I mean, sorry, you go ahead, Tannis.
Well, I was just gonna say, like, if I'm an OS player, I mean, this feels like, how like when a new retro game kind of comes out, but it still comes out at like $20, $25, right? Maybe $30 at the highest end. Because it looks like it did back in 90, whatever. It's meant to be that way. The OS players, that's kind of how I see them, right? And now they're going to pay a AAA price for a nostalgia kick for that. Like, that's even worse.
And you
No
hit the nail on the head
content,
there.
no any, and I'm telling you, this might be, dude, empires fall. And it's not overnight. It's a series of things that you can handle one shock. You can handle two shocks. You cannot handle shock after fucking catastrophe after catastrophe. I'm telling you, RS3 is in big trouble this time.
The other thing that
They've
was
done it.
highlighted on the Reddit is that if you look at the nominal versus inflation adjusted prices, you get to a point here where the prices no longer match up and the time interval between price increases is shrinking down further and further.
Look, and I'll be the first to say I'm surprised grandfather rates have lasted this long. But I would have expected this with the purchase of the company or the sale of the company. You know what I mean? That's when I would have expected it. And the way that this has been done, it's just the biggest slap in the face to the most loyal people that they have.
Yeah.
I would have thought it would have happened next Premier
This fall or next spring.
When they normally have the Premier Club release November-ish, that's when I would have expected to see all this. I mean, I knew it was coming. I said at the time, they're going to do that. They'll have to get rid of their grandfather rates. They'll do all this. But yeah, I wasn't expecting it first quarter. I was expecting it fourth quarter.
Yeah. So let's move on to grandfather rates right now then, because you are right, Tanis. This is probably the biggest FU that has been given to the RS community, specifically RuneScape's most dedicated members in a long time. I want to go through some of the language that they used in describing this because it doesn't make sense. It's all very obtuse. So we start off with them saying active grandfather rate subscribers are unaffected by membership changes. Okay. I was under the impression that if you had Premier Club or 12-month membership, you still counted as an active grandfather rate subscriber.
Which again, when we first were sold Premier Club, we were told that if we ever stopped it, we would go back to our grandfathered rates. That
Numerous
was
times.
One of the big things. Yep.
I know that because I was such a late adopter of Premier because I was always afraid of this very fucking thing.
They finally identified that there's more revenue there.
Yep.
Unfortunately, eligible grandfather rate players will need an active recurring monthly membership to retain their rate going forward. An active recurring monthly membership. So you can't be on Premier Club anymore, or 12-month for that. The ability for 12-month subscribers to switch between the discounted value 12-month and inactive grandfather rate memberships has been discontinued.
Without warning.
Correct.
And that's the biggest thing. Without warning, they have done this.
Now, if you are on an active grandfather rate, which they define as any monthly subscription activated and sustained from before September 27th, 2024, your membership price is staying the same.
Mm-hmm.
But then later in the FAQ, they say members have until April 9th to ensure they are on a recurring monthly subscription to keep their grandfathered rate. So what the hell does that mean? Because the next point says, if you are a 12-month subscriber, your inactive grandfather monthly membership rate will be discontinued. Then they say, for the vast majority of subscribers, 12-month represents the best value, even against grandfather rates, yada, yada, yada.
Which,
so
again,
what exactly is going on here?
For the last 5 years, the loyalty, the Premier Club has not represented best value for me. And it's never represented best value for Shane. But I was on an $8.49, and the last 5 years I have paid $10 plus. And as I said, even last year, $143. That's what, $13 something a month that I was paying when my grandfathered rate was $8.49. But to support the company, to have that 1 year payment and those little bit of extras that they gave us, okay, I'll do that. Knowing that if ever it did lose its value, I would always go back to my $8.49 membership.
Yeah.
And they have given me no warning. They've given me no leeway. They've given me no, okay, you have 14 days to do this. No, we've taken it off you and it's done.
And I wanted to, is the read of this FAQ, I read this as though that if you are on 12-month, you have until April 9th to switch off it and go back to monthly with your grandfathered rate. But what you're seeing, Pern, doesn't back that up. What support is saying doesn't back that up. Because my account is in some weird no man's land state. Because when I saw this, I moved it from the 12-month membership to the monthly membership. And I was charged $5. I got the receipt for $5. I got a bank charge for $5 on that.
Yeah, when I went to do it, it was trying to charge me $20.99.
And the thing is, when we look at this, the account status for me says I am on a grandfathered rate, and my next rebill is March 23rd, 2027. But yet I get an email telling me that I'll renew at the yearly price. So it's like, what the hell's going on here? I have no idea what state my account is in. I can't get support to talk to me. They just paste me articles and excerpts from the articles. So I hit them with a GDPR request.
Well,
We'll see what happens.
I mean, there's never been great support anyway, but this is just really showing basically zero support. Cut and paste things and not support.
And the reason it is the biggest FU to these most dedicated members is that there are people who had the option of grandfathered rates to give more money for Premier Club because they liked the benefit or they just wanted to support the company. I was one of those people. Thaxi was one of those people. You're one of those people. Now, seemingly for most of these people, grandfather rates are a thing of the past. So, loyalty items and Premier items and membership benefits are what people think of typically when they think of loyalty. But when you take the core of loyalty itself, the idea of giving Jagex more money because you like what they're doing, and that entire thing is shaken, that is just so deeply disturbing to the base core of this game. We, as a result of this, have already effectively been in the situation that as of when our memberships run out on the Group Ironman later this year, the Group Ironman is done. Tannis, you don't think you're renewing? Pern's probably not. I won't. Then Thaxi probably won't either. And as a result of this, they are also losing somebody, Thaxi, who is a 20-plus-year-old member who doesn't have the grandfathered rates as a result of this, who comes back whenever there's a new quest, plays, recomps, retrims. But now, with grandfather gone, bye-bye. And is this the core of how they want to treat these people who have been here since 2005, 2008? Is this how they want to treat those people?
Well,
because that's what's being portrayed this week.
I was saying before the show, it's like my insurance company. When I rang them up, they're offering 25% discount to all new members. I'm on an exorbitant rate, so I ring up and say, well, listen, can you do anything? No, we can't do anything. I swapped, I went over to a different insurance company who gave me a better deal. A company I'd been with for 20 plus years is, we'll get new people in and give them in, but screw the old people. And that's exactly what this company is doing now.
Yeah. I think this is even worse because like this, here's the thing too, once it feels like they've lost your trust, once it feels like you've been betrayed, you're looking at the whole value equation differently. That becomes part of the equation as well, because we're humans and we can't not take it into account.
You start speaking to the divorce lawyers.
Just saying.
Zan, what position are you in? Because I don't know whether it was pre-show or before that you mentioned what you did with your accounts.
So, I don't know. I've already been in a precarious spot with RuneScape because I've basically been logging in for the past year and a half just to check out updates and just do some random content from here to, from time to time whenever I'm feeling like it. I don't really play too seriously. I tried starting an Iron Man recently, but due to all the early game changes happening literally the second week of it, I decided let's pause that for now and come back to that a little bit later. But I just decided I had already decided to cancel that one, but a couple days ago I just decided to cancel my main as well because I have a backlog of a bunch of other games I'm going to need to be playing. I got a Switch 2 when it came out last year, and I'm still got a decent backlog on that. And honestly, I've been of the mindset I kind of want to see what RuneScape is like in 9 months to a year and just kind of give it some time to cook with this Road to Restoration stuff. But I'm definitely not keeping two $15 per month accounts subscribe to this game while I'm not playing it as much for the time being.
$230 a year accounts, $260.
And also, to me, it's just the way that this kind of went down. It reads to me honest to God, they probably should have just raised the prices more instead of doing this weird grandfather rate stuff. And it's this was an attempt to sort of soften the blow from that. But if they just would have fully committed to just doing the full price raise, it would have looked way better. And now we're in this whole mess kind of situation with it. And
another thing, why not split the membership OS and RS?
Well,
Let's see where the games
kind of
are
something
at.
else I wanted to bring up. We are living in the situation where we don't really have a choice of which game to play. You're paying for both. It's bundled. And this is a situation where it's kind of felt by one game more than the other, what the other game is kind of going through. And that's a really unfortunate side effect of that. So I don't even know what the answer to this whole situation is. It's messy. But I think now more than ever is a time that Jagex needs to be thinking about like how membership works into their monetization overall. Whether I think, honest to God, like something separating RS3 and old school from kind of situations like this affecting one game more than the other, while the other game's kind of getting all the updates in the air. That just shouldn't really happen in a community like this. And that's the kind of stuff I was afraid of when it was very clear that RuneScape is not just RuneScape anymore. It's RuneScape, and old school RuneScape is getting into these kind of situations. And I mean, here we are. Like, how many years later has it been since that split has really taken place?
Well, I mean, again, when we first
longer
started,
than it wasn't at this point.
Yeah.
When it first started, I mean, they were getting all this stuff and we were getting screwed over and such. And now it's the other way around. But the thing is, there is nothing wrong with, we'll go by American dollars, $15 a month for both games.
That's a tremendous value if you are interested
if you
in
play both. But
yeah.
What's wrong with saying, okay, if you just want to play old school, $11 a month. That's it. Bang, done.
No, this is.
And then you can have the dual package, which makes a better value. You get the extra game for another $4, whatever. I mean, there's those things. Or the other thing is, if you're doing this and you're taking grandfather rates away from players like myself and Tanis and such, who have been those long-time loyalty club members, why can't we have, at least, I mean, I would say up to three accounts under that one membership. But even if they said, okay, you can have two characters under each. So I can dabble in old school on one and do the other on the other, or have my Iron Man and my main, do that type of thing. But for one character at those sort of dollars, I mean, you're charging AAA game prices for, I mean, let's face it is an indie game. It's just and just to be kicking sand in the faces of all those loyal members and all those long-term members, it just leaves a really bad taste in your mouth.
It gets worse.
By all means.
It gets worse. There have also been reports of people's renewal dates being moved to be after April 9th. In particular, people being changed to a 12-month recurring membership, killing their grandfather rates. Posted on Reddit, more than one, where the renewal date would change to the point that they can't go back and get their grandfather date. So somebody says they renewed their 12-month plan on March 18th, 2025, and had a renewal date of March 15th, 2026, and that renewal date is still listed on the account management page, but at login it shows that you have 38 days of membership. So that puts the end date at April 19th, which is now past the price increase date of April 9th in one case. Yeah. And there's been other cases of that being reported too.
Yeah, my guess is they knew that. All right,
So, the other one says that their grandfathered membership, they know that it expires if you're not on the plan for 14 days. But with that 12-month recurring was made exactly 14 days ago, where they changed Premier Club to 12-month recurring. So with that, Jagex quietly moves the people who bought Premier even before the change over to the new model, meaning that they changed to a 12-month recurring, unpausing grandfathered rates expiring. And with the price hikes announced 14 days later, knowing people will go look at their membership plan, they get an email stating they're on 12-month recurring now when you never asked to be.
Exactly.
Yay, Premiere, the gift that keeps on giving. And I'm sorry, but like for me, this is not. It isn't a $15 game. It isn't. It never has been a $15 a month game for one character, like you said, Bern. No, and I'm sorry, but this game doesn't exist in a vacuum either, and everything is more expensive. And I don't care where you live; it doesn't matter. Everything is more expensive, and it's only getting worse, and it's only going to get worse. And
well, as I was saying, I
can't afford this.
Yeah, I've had to drop a couple of my my subscriptions. HBO, I'm not getting the value out of that. It's $200 a year saving. I mean, this will most likely go the same way. I mean, I do have the PlayStation and a bunch of games there. I'll just, I play those occasionally when the kids are over, but it'll probably be now I'll start playing those when I'm home alone and doing things. So, yeah, I've already owned all the games, so I don't have to sit there paying, a monthly subscription for something and worrying about, what they're taking away or what they're going to do next. And it's, I mean, as I said, it's, we were all so excited with Road to Restoration and doing all this for the community, and we're helping you out, and we're doing this, and it's just like a government. Yeah, look what we're doing, while they're reaching into your pocket and dragging out more and more with the other hand.
Well, and even for me, Road to Restoration, okay, but it's a double edge, and they've taken a hell of a lot more away than they've added. It was supposed to be a restructuring, and all it's been is a stripping. So, and that's what I figured it would be. But then on top of that, to do this, and I'm telling you, it's not just the money. That is a component. But then it feels dishonest.
Exactly, yes. It's the dishonesty.
It's the culmination of all this at once, too. The pricing and the fact that we're dealing with all this stuff getting stripped away. That's kind of why I'm of this mindset. Hey, I'm just going to hibernate for 9 months and then come back and see what's going on later.
Yep.
And one thing, Pern, you were mentioning about an insurance company before kind of made me think of, there's this ISP that we have around my area that has these giant billboards all over town. And it's like price for life. It's like a super low, like $30 for like fiber or something. And literally everyone who signed up for it knows it's just a complete scam. But for some people, it's the only ISP that they can get access to. So I don't know. I see the RuneScape scenario like there's not a second RuneScape. Like, yes, there are other games, but we are wanting to play RuneScape at the end of the day. And it sucks that we just kind of are forced to deal with this kind of weird shenanigans with the price increase. Not even just the price literally increasing, but the stuff with the grandfather's rates. And like I said before, I think that kind of reads as, I don't know, almost them not wanting to fully commit to like a higher price increase and just trying to find money somewhere else where it kind of softens
because they know what
that's
people saw when they did that membership survey last year that saw prices going up by huge amounts. That set the halls on fire. So
and I don't know,
it's
amazing to me after how many revolving doors of different sets of developers at Jagex, we're still having these same sort of issues with just kind of not fully committing to things and just trying to soften these blows. But in the pursuit of doing so, you make the problem worse.
Yes. And that's it. It's not the fact of the price increases. We all knew it was going to happen. It is the fact that, as you and Ted were saying, all the stripping away of stuff and all that type of stuff, and then to throw this as a big FU on top of it,
if they did the price increases without touching the grandfathered rates, it would be fine.
That's a scenario I'm trying to imagine here. Now, what would the scenario be if they did that, but the price increase was more around the board?
Well, my thing would have been, hey, listen, we have done all this, revenue-wise, we are going to have to increase prices. As of November 1, the price is going to go up and don't have it 30%, have it at 10 or 15% like, normal things would be, but we have to wipe out the grandfather rate. You're giving people 6 months notice. By the time everyone will jump up and down now, but by the time that 6 months comes around, everyone's sort of forgotten. Oh yeah, whatever, just pay it. It's 15%. Who cares? It's gone up $1.50.
And
But
you are
these
the
rates that
person
they're going
who
up-
used to be in sales here, so it makes sense. You would say that.
My background is marketing, sales and marketing, and that is it. I mean, we used to. I mean, when an item was going up, we would do it. Okay, we need to go up this much, but we'll do 2 months at this, and then we'll jump it again. We have it incremental increases, so it's not that big whack right in your face straight away.
It makes us feel like a
And
panic.
that still would have been honest,
It had
right?
to increase now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's nothing
And that
honest
would've been
about the
honest.
grandfather rate stuff. Let's just be 100% clear.
Yeah, no, at all.
No. Not especially not when Loyalty Club we were always told we would go back to grandfather rates if we stop loyalty, if we stop Premier Club.
Yeah. Okay. I think we touched on most everything that needs to be there. It's a real problem. It is as it is because no JMod has replied to this. I think everybody's just talking into the wind here. We'll see if anything happens over the next few weeks on
And
this,
that's
but
the
I
other
don't
thing.
think it
There
will.
has
They've
been
just
no actual response. They've all ducked into their shells. They've all hidden.
Yeah. Because they even had the Jagex corporate account posted on the Discord and on the Reddit.
Well, they better dust off those subways and get back on down in the tubes because this is going to go on for a while.
All right. Well, I'm going to thank some Patreon supporters. There's no scams on our Patreon. You can subscribe honestly, and you get good value from it. 92 now. Extra podcast episodes available for $1 a month. $1 a month only. We just finished recording our Dungeoneering monthly bit. Zach, you were there. You had fun with that, right?
Oh, no, that was a lot of fun. Yeah, I'm really happy with where we went with that.
And you'll see and I want to ask you after we're done whether that was more fun or if the remaster we're going to talk about next is going to be more fun. But we'll see.
I know the answer already.
So we did a full Dungeoneering rework idea, meaning, let's just reimagine Dungeoneering as a skill in 2026. So if you want to hear that, patreon.com/RSBANDB. 3 tiers of support available there, but one of the biggest and most popular ones is our insider tier for $5 a month, and those people are Alvaro L., Amos Reed, Bladecom, Chilbura, Dominic R., Duramax, Forceful Turd, Gila Fleur, Imperialis, Jade Gizmo, Jason S., Jesse W., Julia W., Kesky, Lemon Lodge, Luminos, Mattman, Mighty Myth, Michelle M., Mike Wings, Mongrath, Pernacius, Ricky A., Robbie D., Samuel FL, Sanguine RX, I hope I said that right, Scott DS, Shirt Pants, Psy Oasis, Smavin, Snail Mage, Tabby, The Naked Captain, The Dabbing Goat, Tim, Ukulele Steve, Woody, Zant, and Zazakon. If you want to hear more about that, as I said, patreon.com/RSBNB. We have 3 tiers of support available there, starting for as little as $1 a month. You'll be getting a mention in our show notes, access to the full monthly bit library, and you get voting rights for each monthly bit that we do. All of that for $1 a month, 90 plus extra episodes of the show. We then have our community tier for $3 a month. You get a special VIP rank in our Discord, a chat channel, monthly shout out at the top of the show, and high quality stereo versions of our show. From time to time, we'll ask for ideas about monthly bit ideas, and you'll also be able to take part in our community nights. And we do have the insider tier as well for $5 a month, where you get a shout out on the podcast each and every week, access to the expanded clip archive, and our outtakes that are formed from the pre and post shows, and just things that happen, including my kabooming sneezes has happened on the monthly bit this week. So,
And pre-show.
yeah, I wasn't recording that one, but we also do at that tier offer our Patreon Christmas card as well. So thank you so much, everybody. Patreon.com/RSBNB.
Thanks, guys.
All right. So Dungeoneering. I feel like we now actually get to discuss content.
The Maxi minigame.
Yeah, this is coming in May. And they say that their remaster typically refers to taking an original file and re-exporting it with higher standards in mind. So how does that work with something like a skill in a game? So they say that overhauling or reworking the skill has connotations that the entire identity is changing, but refreshing would be more apt but not applicable in all cases, especially when a remaster does include elements of re-exporting original aspects at modern standards. So that's their definition of a remaster, which is different than a full rework. So with this, and they said something funny in this post.
That Dungeoneering is
The foundational
definitely a
loops of
skill.
Daemonheim Dungeoneering are already solid.
Basically, all they've done is make it pretty. It's a graphical update.
With the only worthwhile section being quality of life.
Yeah, this seems like they're just taking the existing idea of Daemonheim and bringing it up to the standard that other content is roughly nowadays.
That's basically what this is.
Yeah, this isn't let's figure out what Dungeoneering is. And I find it funny. There's a part of this where they literally say Dungeoneering is a skill. I'm like,
I know. I
really?
laughed when I read
really?
that.
It's a
They're making
maxi
sure, like,
minigame.
it's a skill, damn it. Like, don't
It's
call
a
it a
maxi minigame. That's all it is. Its own little world.
So
we don't like that you guys are getting XP other ways.
the project is
Just
Those are
focused
feelings.
on improving
Sorry.
the skill's gameplay, balance, and mechanics without changing the core identity. So it's going to still focus heavily around Daemonheim. They will improve visual clarities in specific art aspects, such as lighting or VFX, with improvements to texture, but the lion's share is being spent on that coding and access of gameplay, and gameplay aspect that the majority of the art team continues to focus on other projects that affect RuneScape on a broad scale, such as the player avatar rework. They will look to remove unnecessary complexity to make the skill more intuitive to understand and jump into, and the intent is to modernize it with a better setup for the future rather than adding a slew of new content to it right now. So this means there are no new floors, new puzzle rooms, bosses, or dungeons part of the project.
So still no fun.
so I don't even know what they could have done within the scope of this update to make Dungeoneering, not a mini game. But maybe that's worth just like identifying here at the start as probably without outside of the scope of what they're trying to do with a remaster.
Yeah.
This is probably just about this is an old steamy turd. We don't want it to be a steamy turd anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I've always taken remasters as just being graphical updates.
and Zant, you jumped on Dungeoneering
stuff.
really early, because I forget, you said you had like 120 by like 2014 or something like that.
It was like 118 or 119 or something like that around that time, and I finished up 120 in the past like 5 or 6 years.
And it was because you enjoyed doing it.
It's just simply because after 99 I just had a group and we just kind of did it for fun. Like there was probably about 2 or 3 months where we just hop on and just do a couple floors every night over voice chat, and it was so cool. Like I remember we were even getting involved with some of like the actual people like doing like speed running, like speed floors back then, and that whole speed running aspect of it, just trying to see how fast you can do it, that was kind of just the whole game behind it. And
yeah, and they said they do want to hone
there was
in
a
on
little
that.
bit of I will admit
Wasn't
there was
it-
a bit of the floor selling type thing going on that kind of incentivized a lot of that kind of activity. So
Wasn't it Tim who had who's clocked it 10 times?
200 mil multiple times over.
that's insane. I wouldn't see. I like the skill, but not that much. Like, and I will openly admit too. Like, I think the reason I was able to enjoy it so much is because I had that group, and that's something that's it's not super easy to come by, having that dedicated of a team to always do something like that within RuneScape.
And that goes into the rebalancing of output sections, where they want to rebalance the end of floor XP so that the lower level floors don't get rushed or skipped, because they, right now don't give worthwhile XP.
Now, I think this is excellent because I think we have all done this where, you get to, you get to your end of your floor streak and you have your first 30 floors to do that you haven't done because the XP is too low, and you have to kind of just go rush them all and clear them out. Or I know some people, once you get past a certain point of having just a ridiculous amount of tokens, you just mark them off with the shop. Yeah, it's good that we will actually be able to do proper dungeoneering on those floors. And also, that'd just be kind of cool to do like large frozens and furnished floors, which you just never really would see past, their, the mid-tier levels.
Yeah.
So,
and this also ties in with Prestige, but we'll get there.
God.
They also want to make it so that solo players don't always feel like they gain rewarding amounts of XP when compared to when playing in a group. That came out wrong, but basically they want to make it more worthwhile for solos and less punishing.
I think it always feels especially bad solo as well, because you literally see like how much you're deducted for being solo in the final screen. Yeah, it's like, how dare you not come in here with 5 people? It's the exact opposite. It's 5 times as hard solo. It takes 5 times as long. And it wasn't until like I don't remember how many years ago it was, but you used to not even be able to do large floor solo. It used to be just you were restricted to smalls and mediums, which that was complete double whammy.
That's when I did on the Pern account. My 120 was 99% solos and sinkholes.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Well, basically, I've said the story before. My very first time in, just the abuse I copped. I thought, nah, hate this skill. It was my last 99. It was just like, I need it for max, so I got it to 99. And then from 99 to 120 was my 2 a day where I could choose the boss, just go in there, run it through quickly, and do my 2 sinkholes a day I could do. And that's how I got from 99 to 120.
Yeah, keep in mind, sinkholes are going away too. And I did 115 to 120 at the hole.
Yep.
He deserves to have that hole on the back of his cape, not the ring, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm going to say that every time he brings us up.
No, that's good.
Losing sinkholes is tough for League, so.
Yeah.
The other thing that, I don't know if this is just going to be a drop in the bucket or whatever, but I noticed it looks like they're taking all the skilling XP out of it as well. And changing it to Dungeoneering XP.
Yeah, that's what they said.
So I don't know how. I don't know how.
Different gameplay styles are not rewarded. So think exploring dungeon versus speedrunning to the end. They say they will keep rewarding the highest efficiency and will consider reducing the penalty of guide mode, but Dungeoneering XP will be gained from actions taken within the dungeon. So opening doors, gathering from resource nodes, or exploring optional paths should provide Dungeoneering XP. When this change is implemented, it would likely leave the Scroll of Daemonheim in an odd spot, rendering it largely obsolete. So they will likely be removing the Scroll of Daemonheim.
Well, remember C3. It was C3 or C2 fishing.
Yeah, I was going to say, other than people who do things like that, does anyone actually care about getting skilling XP from dungeons?
Divination.
No, not at all.
Divination and ring
Divination
crafting
was very good in there. Yeah,
we're both very good.
Divination, because you can get the 4 times amount with that relic.
So basically what we're saying,
but it's not clear.
It's just these
like
side
they could
methods
add
that
Dungeoneering
are
XP. I don't necessarily know if it would make sense. Like, it doesn't say anywhere they're removing skilling XP.
Oh, does it not say that?
Oh,
it might just give token.
I mean,
XP.
like it says they're adding Dungeoneering XP, but I don't think it says anywhere that they're considering removing, the actual skilling XP.
I'm not sure it would matter either way, because it's, to people just training with skill, it's really not much XP. I mean, the only people who really use it are the people who are just trying to train other skills using that method.
Yeah.
Which, do we need to preserve that?
They also aim to address another complaint that there's no monetary value in Dungeoneering, and they'd like to look at adding resource bags as a reward for completing floors, like the Mother Load mod items.
Everything has to make money!
I hate this. Did I mention how much I hate this?
I would rather them go the route of sprinkling more rare stuff in that you can make money from. Like how the archaeology has the Inquisitor staff and Spear of Annihilation. Little drops like that you could get, but you're not sitting there focusing on getting.
Imagine just unlocking a chaotic staff. You just happen to find one you don't have to spend tokens on.
Well,
That's an interesting idea.
Can I spoil that we? Yeah,
Yeah,
can I
go
spoil
for it.
something from the bit? Okay, yeah,
Give me
in the
more
bit
subscribers.
that was basically an idea that we had pretty much was to put some of the shop rewards as like rare drops that you can get from actually doing dungeoneering.
Yes.
So that also kind of helps with the problem of for every single reward out there, you can't buy it at the level you unlock it because you just don't have enough tokens. But you could just get it by chance just from dungeoneering, and
Yep.
That could be tied to skilling actions too, not just combat.
I've been saying that for 10 years.
That would be awesome. That would be great. Like, think about how exciting it would be for a person who just hit level 80 in Dungeoneering to just get a chaotic.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, we've got an example
I
of
was saying
that. What Spider Silk could, right? Like, that's always a, like, ooh! I mean, it feels like it's just another takeaway, right? Like, at the end of the day.
And then bosses and mobs generally feel outdated. So looking over the stats of bosses and mobs, and they want to be mindful of those instances with low-level players being grouped with high-level players, and they don't drastically want to change the current flow of dungeoneering that largely works. So they're not planning on making changes towards an exhausting grind. What they're keen to achieve is bosses that feel like bosses once more rather than mobs with a bit more health.
That's good. I was worried about things becoming too spongy with this kind of thing.
Because you can look at these things in there most of the time and they just die. There's a few of them that require some thought.
But on that same note, if things were sitting there
Can we remove Blink?
Are we talking about bosses or mobs specifically?
Bosses.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Well, they say bosses and mobs, but I think bosses are the bigger.
Just make Blink not hit as hard, and I think we'll be fine.
Yeah, the mobs later on.
When you click on the pillars, make him come up straight away, not like that 2-second delay so that he runs across it and then it pops up. And
that boss is just insane. We should just get rid of that one.
I bought Baby Blink with tokens just so I could kick it around. I'd sometimes stand at the bank with him and just kick.
Yeah, I think if they're going to make bosses actually more of a fight, I think they should have the best chance at giving you the kind of drop table we're describing here.
They said a prospective change here might be increasing mob life points while reducing their defense at the same time.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Have them drop a bag of tokens occasionally. The rare, as we said, imagine, all of a sudden you go down there and you've got the farming scroll is unlocked there. Great, I don't have to buy that. And
having tokens drop in there would be great because they're going to be taking it away from anything other than dungeoneering. So
yeah, what if they just straight up dropped like coins almost?
Well, that's what they were saying. Yeah. Elite Dungeons and Archaeology give a lot of tokens, which are more rewarding than doing the skill itself. And they feel dungeoneering should be the main way of acquiring tokens, so one consideration is to reduce the tokens gained from Archaeology and Elite Dungeons.
That's gonna happen,
However,
where do you get dungeoneering tokens in Archaeology?
The 2 collections at the Daemonheim dig site.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
They say we may
Is that a remarkable amount of tokens?
However, that it is best to remove token acquisition from these activities entirely.
I feel like Elite Dungeons should still have
them.
Right?
Yeah, not as many, but it needs to have some.
Because that's just, I don't know, I see that as almost like
people do. That's why people
just like the extreme different way of dungeoneering, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like
it's
called
Elite
the legit
Dungeons.
way of
it's part of dungeoneering.
Yeah.
It is.
XP-based Garaggio cards are too powerful, especially when combined with DXP, and create the kind of play loop that is incompatible with our move towards more integrity-focused games play.
Yeah, integrity, they say after they just did what they did to
And again, taking more away, which is fine because I kind of look at that like a treasure hunter item anyway. But
yeah,
so whatever. But again, man, I'm just not seeing what am I getting out of this? What are you doing for me,
Quality of
Dungeoneering?
life
What are you
changes.
doing? Okay, we haven't gotten there yet. Yeah. Okay.
No longer needing to bank before you start a dungeon. Relevant
Thank
keys and
you.
skills being shown on the dungeon map. Going from 2 clicks to open a skill or key door down to 1. Allowing
thank you.
irons and mains to dungeoneer together.
Mhm.
And can we, even if you have loot option, if we just click the key, pick the freaking key up. Don't open up this whole loot thing.
Yeah,
And I've got
that'd be great,
where's the
wouldn't
key? Down the bottom there. There it is.
On that patch note about the dungeon map, back in the day, I remember there was like a third-party application that we would use to mark where keys and stuff were on the map. This is like before Alt 1, so it's not like automatically doing it. You'd have this like dungeoneering map off screen that you could just like click and mark which key is where. It's gonna be cool to just have that there in game.
Yeah, I think a lot of people would want that as an add-on, so that makes sense.
It's incredibly useful to just know where everything is. You don't have to just like sit and guess and remember. And I think Alt 1 kind of keeps track of that if you're one of those people. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Stop pushing me towards Alt 1.
Well, they're pushing you away from it now because this is going to be in game.
They also want to move away from skill doors having hard requirements, like you need a certain skill level to do it. Instead, you could attempt to open the skill door, but had a greater chance to fail it if you're of a lower level.
Thank you.
Yeah, that
Does this mean we're not going to have to make potions?
That would be nice.
For like,
well,
if it's one
potion's
of those
still
ones
gonna
that
boost
requires
you.
like,
yeah,
but sometimes you hit a skill door.
103 farming. I know.
Yeah. So does this imply that we just have a lesser chance of that working? We just have to sit there attempting it now, or do we still have to make the potion?
Well,
No,
I
we don't
think
have
you
to make
make
the
the
potion.
potion, it would be, guaranteed, right?
Yeah, maybe.
So maybe in most
Or
cases,
gives
it's
you
just
the
probably
boost,
not
yeah.
worth to make the potion, unless it's
But
like
yeah.
way above your skill level.
I know
Because
we have
most
some
of the time,
potions
it's like
bound in the group.
that's true. I forgot about that. Because I think the scenario most people hit is, it's a skill that it's asking for like 102, 103, and you're 99.
Yeah.
Yeah, so then you could try it at a failure rate. Also improving the bind system by adding a small but potentially expanding dungeoneering bank that is accessed via the smuggler. This would not be intended for hoarding, but should be an improvement on the existing limited loadout system.
Thank you.
Be cool if you could put like food and stuff into that.
Yeah.
And just have like something ready to go, and you're not just kind of wild carding the smuggler's room each time.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Well, my thing is like, you get a higher level weapon drop that you can't actually use yet. You got to bind it, but you can never use it. But when I get up to that level now, I can. It's already there. I don't have to just leave it.
Yeah.
Okay, the prestige system. It's going away.
I'm going to be honest with you. I can't even really remember what this did except making me get more
XP.
It's just
I still don't understand it.
Yeah.
It kills your XP.
It's like, I knew how to interface with it, but if you don't do it right, you get less XP. It's
yeah.
It's
So floor
annoying.
XP will no longer be penalized. Completing a unique floor will give you a buff. Buffs will reset automatically once you've completed the max number of floors available to you. So it's kind of just rolling it in to the base setup.
Well, I'm all for getting rid of the prestige system because it's stupid. But as you go on, Shane, you're going to lose me because I don't have an engineering degree. I don't have a degree in mathematics. I don't understand that, well, you can do this floor and get this bonus and this bonus for this floor. This sucks.
Again, remember in our group, we had a couple who hadn't done the early floors, and there were a few of us who had done the first 20 or 30 floors. So we were running those early floors and getting nominal 10% of the XP everyone else was getting, because we had to get everyone ticked off on those floors, and it wasn't until later floors that we were all getting equal XP. So it makes it better for grouping as well, because you don't have to find someone who's already unlocked all the floors you have.
Overall, they say there will be about 5 to 10 different buffs in total that will stack up. And they'll be relative to the floors that you have done, not assigned to each floor. So, for example, for your first completed floor, it will be a X% resource boost, regardless if that floor is 3 or 55.
I like this a lot more than just giving you XP.
And then your buffs reset when you complete the max floors available. And they carry over between sessions, so there's no pressure to do as many floors as you can in a single session. And the reset automatically allows you to avoid meta stacking of 59 buffs and then simply repeating a completed high-level floor.
So it sounds like you're definitely going to want to tick off all floors and always be doing unique floors to always have these. But you don't have to literally be in like the same state as the other people you're dungeoning with to do so and get the best XP.
That's the sense that I get.
Yeah, which is that's good. I kind of would have wished that there's just, who cares if you do a unique floor? But I guess there is some push to have you experience the different themes in Dungeoneering and all the different floors and such. So
I still feel like this is confusing.
That's what I'm saying.
Confusing.
It is still confusing. Like, I feel like if you just didn't get a buff for doing a floor you haven't done within the past 50 floors you've done, and it's just the same all around the board, just do your floors. Pick which floor you want to do it with your friends. Just keep it simple.
This feels like Prestige without an interface.
That's
Yeah.
pretty much what it is.
I don't see what
Yeah.
the difference, when you're adding a buff for doing unique floors, what's the difference between that or taking away one for not doing unique floors?
They
it's
also
just
want
that it's
to
not
add
XP now.
necromancy into Dungeoneering, as well as invention and archaeology.
Necromancy, I think, is a good one because you're going to have players that necromancy is their main combat style, and they should be able to do that in Dungeoneering. The other two, why?
Well, the other two aren't actually coming in. They're just at skill doors.
Exactly.
So-
Why?
I know.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't see the point. I really don't see it. What it adds. I guess consistency. Woo. But
Yeah, I mean, nothing for the player, right? Like, I don't.
No, but the
Like
mini game is supposed to encompass all the other skills. So there you go.
What is the
but this
whole,
doesn't encompass the other skills. It's just
What
tacking
is-
them on. So.
What is the whole point of this at the end of the day?
I don't
Like,
know.
I feel like they saw Dungeoneering was the most voted up thing that people wanted on Reddit as a remaster, so they're doing it. But this doesn't make me want to
Yes.
interact with Dungeoneering more.
No, people.
It makes
I
it
think
seem. It makes it seem more convenient, but it feels like we're polishing a turd.
because when people think remaster, that's why they did. I appreciate that they defined what they mean by remaster. But when you ask people on Reddit, what should we remaster? They're thinking Resident Evil. They're not thinking, we're going to get rid of the prestige interface and just roll some buffs in. Is that cool, guys? I don't think that's really what they're thinking. I think they were thinking major reconstruction, but
And that's why this
Just-
post was so helpful for us before we did that monthly bit. Because that let us focus on that.
And I think it's probably worth mentioning that's probably just what Dungeoneering needs. It doesn't need to remaster it. It needs a
I
rip
need
it
a
out
smithing
and redo
rework
it.
level
mhm.
update.
Yes. Which I think for the scope of what this remaster is, I think it's going to make it a little less friction. It's gonna make it easier to train. It's gonna make things a bit nicer on the board. We're getting some nice quality of life stuff, but like I said, we're polishing
It's
a
not
turd.
adding. Yep.
It's still a turd. It's just a more shiny one now.
And
But
I mean,
don't
with the quality
forget-
of life means we've been eating a lot more fiber, so it's going to be a more pleasant
Yeah.
crapping experience. But
Exactly.
Don't
Still-
forget the biggest thing, though. They're going to add some titles for you.
For speedrunning support. How do you feel
yeah.
about that, Zan?
I don't
The
even
size says
know.
it all.
For people who
I
don't know,
even
Zan, you earned your fame on Twitch by speedrunning Zelda games.
Yes.
So how do you feel
Specifically
about
Breath
this?
of the Wild? I mean, I like it. I just incentivize me to do this when I'm training it instead of with titles, because that's what people do to train it. Like, that's literally the fastest XP is speedrunning Dungeoneering. Like, I think they should lean into that with the skill. Like, I touch on that in the bit a little bit. But it's like there's still part of Jagex that thinks people actually go into dungeons and clear literally fucking everything. That's I think that just needs to be admitted that that's not what this skill is gonna really ever be to most people. And I think if that's what they're trying to kind of portray as an option, that makes it more confusing. Like,
to be fair, up until I hit around level 90, I thought that's how you got the most XP. You had to clear every floor of every resource and every boss. So,
and we find out later it's the only stuff on the critical path.
yeah.
I mean, I think it's fine to have other resources and stuff in the dungeon. I'm not saying like all the other stuff in the dungeon is just functionally useless. Like, yeah, you need resources in the dungeon, so when you don't have a potion bound, you have to have stuff there to make the potion and advance forward, right? But it's like they expect everyone to interact with every single door that opens and every single skilling node in there. I don't know that anyone does that, except people who don't know what they're doing.
We might have done a few like that on the GIM for memes, but we did not otherwise.
So I don't know. I feel like this is the section I would have wanted to see more of in the upper sections. Like, do more things that kind of incentivize you kind of just rushing through these. I hate to say it, like we're skipping most of, I guess, our beautiful, beloved minigame skill, but that's how people train it. At the end of the day, that is what it is,
And because of that, we have to ask the question, like, what is the actual problem here with Dungeoneering in Daemonheim, right?
Yeah.
And realize that there are a lot of people out there who don't like it like that.
I will say the quick chat stuff's cool, though.
And overall, changing it to be more world-focused, centric, rather than just all in Daemonheim, I think might have been a better thing to do. Yeah. But we'll see what they come back with on this based on the feedback. I mean, overall, it doesn't make me want to do Dungeoneering more.
Same here. I mean, I've done a lot of it. Yeah. And I will say, I'm not completely negative on the speedrunning stuff. Like, I sound like it, but I'm a fan of it. And specifically the quick chat options and the high scores, I think that's cool. I think that's really cool. There's already a very small section of players that have recorded sometimes on speedrun.com for certain Dungeoneering floors. But it's like barely there. RuneScape's never had much of a actual presence on those actual leaderboards. And that's the official leaderboards that, the speedrun community uses. Official, I guess, in quotes. I guess it's not actually official, but yeah, it's good to see that in game. I think that's going to put a little bit more of a spotlight on that. But yeah, I think speedrunning Dungeoneering is like the way to do it, honestly.
Yeah. Alrighty, well, let them know what they think, Discord, or let them know what you think, Reddit, Discord, what have you. Let us know if we hit the mark on this, or if you just want to hear something completely off the wall, go listen to our monthly bit on Dungeoneering and the skill rework for it. Alright, we do have some patch notes this week. Would it surprise anybody to know that following the combat update, everything is relatively even outside of ranged in terms of use? Necromancy dropped from 60% boss kills down to 37% after the combat update. Magic increased from 17% to 22%, and melee increased from 16% to 27%, which is a 38% decrease for necromancy, 29% increase for magic, and a 68% increase for melee, and an 85% increase for ranged, despite range still being the lowest. So it worked. It worked. That was boss kills. All kills are a little bit more muddy. Necromancy decreased. Magic increased. Range, it did not increase, and melee increased by 14%. So, I mean, it's doing what it needed to do. But I think the biggest thing that we walk away from here this week is that the magnitudes and the numbers behind melee have been toned down a bit. The adrenaline and the healing and the sustain, as we talked about last week, that's still all there. Bear still says that it feels magnificent in that regard, but they brought down the numbers for melee and magic after seeing what people were doing with it. As for ranged, the interesting bit about ranged is that they increased the damage bonus for when arrows, increased the damage on the corroming perk, and lowered the default ammo break chance from 20 to 15%. So now almost all ammo follows the default break chance, and then some arrows will now auto-retrieve without ABAs in cases where it would have been on for them to drop. So not too much there on all of that in terms of ranged, but definitely magnitude changes for melee, and they toned down... Get this, they toned down the amount of damage that the critical strike damage on the Fractured Staff does, as well as the critical strike damage on the Tupmakin's armor set. Because those were just a little bit too strong and too reliant on those two pieces of tier 95 legendary armors and weapons. So, aside from that, we have the Equilibrium perk has returned, which increases ability damage by 10% plus an additional 1% per rank, so 14% at rank 14. And the interesting bit about this is this now comes from new components, ecliptic components that come from, drumroll please, the Roar of Awakening and Ode to Deceit, the Kopesh of Tupmakin and Elidness, and the Devourer's Guard, Tupmakin's Resplendence Equipment, and Tupmakin's Light. So that's Sanctum, Magister, and a Mascot.
Pretty crazy patch note.
Yeah. So prices of Roar and Ode are up this week, as they also nerfed the drop rates there in Sanctum, which I got bit by, because people remember I said I was going to buy those after the show last week, but I didn't, and I forgot, and I ended up paying like 200 mil for each one when they were around 80 before.
Oopsie.
So, I don't know how I feel about Equilibrium for the introductory combat style being locked behind these expensive perks, but I guess we'll see where that lands. But, I mean, overall, there could have been bigger changes this week, but I think we kind of squeaked by here on all the big ones. Anybody have any specific thoughts about these patch notes?
Nah.
No? Okay.
How long will it last, though, before one of them creeps up more than the other?
Well, the interesting thing about this
again.
is the best way to do damage now in this regime is with hybrid melee magic. Yeah. Which is crazy when you think about it.
Mm-hmm.
So. Alrighty. Moving on from that, we do have the Sandwich Seller outfit available.
Jesus.
Anybody gonna buy this?
I'm sorry,
No.
I hate this.
Why do you say?
I mean, I can't wait to give them some more money. I definitely wanted to.
I have no idea how much it is.
It's like 25 US. Yeah, here, let me
Okay.
But you can also get a title and call yourself Zant Sandwich.
Yeah, 855 rune coins, otherwise 25.65 US. And I just, this bothers me. That is not worth that much. This looks, I'm sorry, this looks like such a quickly put together outfit as well.
It does.
I guess we're going to find out soon whether or not there's going to be people who are actually going to spend $25 on this, right?
I'm not a character artist. I feel like I could go like make this in 3ds Max in a couple hours if I really wanted to.
The women's one looks weird.
And it has that weird stretching of the stripes.
Yeah.
Imagine how it might look though if we had cloth physics instead. That would
Yeah,
make
like
it neat.
why are the UVs all messed up on the women's one? I'm seeing that
Yeah.
on the screen share now. Like I saw that before, but I'm taking a look at that again. That's crazy.
Yeah, the women's one looks really weird.
And also, there is a whole collection of warped attacks that you can buy 1-for-1 in the store, as well as some necromancy conjure overrides, as well as Inari and Pearl, the two pets that are in there. So
See, these are so much more worth it.
yeah,
I like the
attack
difference
overrides.
on the skeleton and phantom and vengeful
Are
ghost.
these new? Or are these ones that have
no,
been in
these
before?
ones rotated out.
Okay, I was going to say, if these are new, that's pretty cool. And that's a pretty good price
the
for some of
sandwich
these.
people are the only new ones, I believe.
Yeah, so I guess we're paying a premium for that because it's new, I guess. That's just an insane price for that. Like, I mean, I'd be okay with that being a $5 outfit. That'd be cool. I think people would buy that. I don't know who's buying that for $25.
Well, that's the
But
price.
again,
That's the
they're
price we
gonna-
signed up for, because otherwise it'd be treasure
That's right.
hunter.
That's right. That's the price they have to start selling all these outfits
Well,
for now. But they need
instead
to
of
make them
coming
look
out
better.
Instead of coming out with one outfit for $25, why not come out with like 5 and they're like $5 each and give us some options, or hell, even $10 each at that, you know?
Well, I
It
guess
just
we'll
seems
see
we
if
need
it sells,
something
right?
to sell this week, you know? Say again. I'm sorry, I'm interrupting like
No,
crazy.
I was going to say, I guess we'll see if it sells, and if it sells, this will be the price, and if things don't sell over time, the price will nudge down slightly.
I guess so.
Yeah,
This
you
just
have to bring the price down or the quality up, one of the two, because this ain't cutting
well,
it.
if this is how much an outfit that looks like this costs, what are the new outfits for after the player avatar refresh going to cost? Because I assume some of those are going to be quite crazy once we have this new high fidelity character that we can do all this crazy cool stuff with, you know?
You can get the Sandwich Lady outfit on OSRS from Beginner Clue Scrolls and buy it on the GE for $12K.
Does this not also exist in RS3?
No, this is what
Okay.
just came out. Yeah.
Okay, I read the thing that just came out as like an updated version of it, like they've done with Rune Armor before.
No, I don't think we had
Yeah.
one before, did we?
Not a sandwich.
I wasn't sure, but when I saw that page, it kind of made me think, do we have that? But yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, I don't think we had it before, because the wiki's showing March 9th is the release date on it, so...
I just hope this is a product of us being in this weird place where they need to be making money from outfits, but we don't have the player avatar refresh yet, so there's not a ton of stuff to come out with yet. And here you go. Best we got for now, but
I wonder if it's recolorable.
I think the fact that we see pink on the male and black on the female indicates that it probably is.
Yeah. Okay.
You would hope so.
Well, I'm not taking the bullet to buy this and test it out. I'm not spending
I'm not
$25 on this outfit. Not after this week.
No, they won't be getting much money out of me for anything over the next few months until we see what happens.
Alrighty, well, that's the way the ball bounces. Sandwiches be damned. What?
So you don't want to Shane 12088 the sandwich.
No.
Title.
No.
I think Jagex just told us let them eat sandwiches this week. Literally.
And knowing them in the UK, it'd be some weird tasting sandwich, too. Did you know they have an idea of, they have what's called a bacon roll, where you put butter
Yeah.
and then bacon and then another piece of bread, except it's not our kind of bacon from North America. It's like the fried up ham style bacon.
Oh, that sounds good to me.
No, I have bacon sandwiches all the time.
Yeah,
They go
I kinda like
next
bacon.
to a tomato sauce sandwich.
I mean,
Why
I'm
did you
from
pick
Virginia.
the one thing
Did you
that sounds
try
good
that yet?
they make?
I'm from Southwestern Virginia. That sounds like something I would have had for breakfast growing up, to be honest with you.
Yeah, seriously.
Shane, did you try the ketchup sandwich?
No.
Ah,
No, I told people about it and I got raised eyebrows. People might remember Brad or Chief Snake from New Zealand. He said when he went to school, he had Marmite and cheese as his lunch.
Yeah. We do Vegemite and cheese over here.
I still really want to try that stuff.
I don't want anything.
I'm so curious.
The problem with Vegemite when Americans use it, they spread it like jam.
I know where you're going with this. Yeah.
You put the butter on.
Little.
Yes, yeah, it's just like a little. Yeah, it's like this much on the end of your knife, and just smear it over so it just colors it, and
I'm still really kind of afraid of it, even knowing that. Like,
I love my Vegemite sandwiches. I eat those twice a week still now. During winter on toast. Beautiful.
I should see if they have that in the ethnic section of the grocery store.
Ethnic? They call me ethnic. God. The Aussies, we're all ethnics.
You're Tasmanian?
No, they have 2 heads.
Oh, okay.
They're all inbred down there.
All right, moving on to the achievements. Pern, you want to start us off?
I will. We have Isarap with a 120 magic on March 11th. Moving on to March 10th, we have Iron VSS with 99 summoning and Isarap again with 200 mil constitution. Down to March 9th, Crazy Girl 23 with 99 construction. Zant hit 120 defense, congratulations. And Lady Claw with 200 mil crafting.
Nicely done.
March 8th, we had Darth Wolfus with 120 attack, 120 strength, 120 ranged, and 120 magic, all on March 8th, which I already said. We also had Iron VSS with 99 construction, Zonex 9191 with 99 necromancy, and Rhino with 120 construction on the 6th.
Nicely done. Then our other achievements, we have Pern on the Gim with Rocky the Mining Pet on March 12th. Nice.
Just before the show started.
Lowish
half
level
hour
of
before
XP.
the show.
Juan Peru on the 11th with the QBD pet at 1501 KC, marking completion of the log. And BladeCom with 2 runic attuners on the 11th at 38 and 52 KC respectively.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
Very nice. The bad one, though. You don't want the runic attuner. You want the other one.
Yeah, the Dowser.
Still.
Alrighty, well, let's add some sunshine to the world. At least I think this pick is sunshine. What do you got for pick of the week, Zant?
Okay, so if you have any Nintendo or Pokemon fans in your life/circles, you've probably already seen this week, but Pokemon Pokopia came out last week, and man, this game is just, I don't know how to describe it other than just like pure joy. It's almost like Animal Crossing crossed with Stardew Valley, but in the Pokemon universe with some Minecraft elements in there. So yeah, it's kind of a slice of life town builder sort of game, but I think the thing that people really like about this is it's a Pokemon game that focuses solely on like the interactions between different Pokemon and how you kind of make them comfortable enough in their environments to want to live certain places. And it taps into this different personality of Pokemon that we don't really see so much in the main games, but all these creatures that we have, and there's over 1,000 of them now. We're about to head into the 10th generation, actually, with Winds and Waves coming out next year. There's just so many cool stories behind each one of these creatures, and this game has you building these little environments for them that kind of make them feel more comfy enough to want to live in your area and help contribute to making the area more comfy for other Pokemon. And just for anyone who's a fan of this game and have favorite Pokemon and kind of know the little intricate details, these guys, it's adorable. It's filled with so much joy everywhere. And I'm still really early on in it. I basically just finished the little tutorial area. And I'm at a point where I can kind of it's kind of opened up for me a bit. And there's some more building and things like that I can do instead of kind of just like ramping up, figuring out the mechanics and such. But I can already tell I'm going to put a lot of hours into this game. this is one of those games like Stardew Valley that you kind of just get lost in for a couple hours.
So it's
and you forget
basically
you've been playing
Pokemon
for so
Stardew
long.
Valley then. Kind
Yeah,
of.
and I'll be real with you. I'm having a really hard time like comparing it to a specific game because it takes elements from Stardew Valley. The world is kind of like Minecraft, where it's
I
all
see the
voxelized.
blocking
Everything is a
nature of it,
block.
Yeah.
And you can collect the blocks and place them in other places and build things with them, and they each have their own unique properties and stuff. There's a lot of good crafting, but
And then I'd
I
assume
seriously
there's
think,
like a element of like Planet Zoo in it where you have to build like the right environment for the right Pokemon.
yes, and I touched on this a little bit, but you can A, attract Pokemon like that, and then B, have Pokemon kind of become more comfortable through doing that. When they become more comfortable, you get more benefits from them, and they start helping you make the environment better by finding items and a bunch of other things that I really haven't. I've only just scratched the surface with that system in this game, but the core loop heavily revolves around getting items, completing objectives to come back to your little home base and do things that make life more comfortable there for the Pokemon who are living there. And in doing so, making these nice environments for these Pokemon, you attract other ones. And that's how you encounter new Pokemon through like your little wild encounters. And when you find a wild Pokemon in this game, you don't battle them like the main games. You kind of learn about what they like and what their needs are and what they need to feel comfy here. And I think overall, the coolest thing about this is the overall story about this game is that you're rebuilding this world that no longer has humans in it. And seemingly because of that, all the Pokemon have kind of escaped. And what the world map really is, it's Kanto flipped upside down in sort of like a post-apocalyptic scenario where all the towns are worn down and there's no one there and they're all dry. And you have to basically bring the whole area back to life and kind of redesign it in your own way. And
That sounds really cool.
It's really cool. And just the warmth that you get from all the Pokemon when you make their area really cozy to them, it gives you the fuzzies all the time. And it's one of those games that you'll just be sitting there playing it for 3 hours, and then you'll put it down and take a break for a second, and you'll just be like,
I gotta go back and do stuff
I feel
with
good.
Yeah.
Is it only on Switch 2 or is it on the original Switch as well?
Yes, unfortunately, it is a Switch 2 exclusive game. So there's quite a lot of people who are in the mindset of, shelling out the $700 to get that plus the game in their region for this.
The game actually looks, really cool.
And it's not like a visual masterpiece or anything.
No,
like,
it doesn't have to be, I don't think.
No,
I don't think it really needs to be a Switch 2 only game, but I think they did that just so there's no questions about the performance with this.
Yeah.
Because for anyone who hasn't been like in the Pokemon or Nintendo sphere, Pokemon games over the past generation have been rough performance-wise and just technical-wise.
Well, that's because it's like the RS problem, because they're just able to sell it to the Pokemon fans, and it doesn't matter on the quality side of it. The software
I also
quality
think,
side.
I don't have confirmation on this, but I think Pokemon's also dealing with a similar issue that RuneScape is with their engine. I think the main series of games is honestly probably still running on a version of the engine that was probably around for like Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald, and the old Game Boy games.
For those of us who have been absent since like Gold and Silver, how many years ago was that?
So Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald is the generation after Gold and Silver. It's 3.
Oh.
So yeah, I think what we saw Pokemon Scarlet and Violet running on was probably the same engine that they've just kind of kept tacking more and more tech onto over the years. I know like Call of Duty has basically done that until I think 4 or 5 years ago, they decided, okay, we need something new here. This is kind of crazy. Because Call of Duty's engine was built from the Quake engine.
And how much does the Switch 2 set people back?
$450 US right now. And it's predicted to be going up sometime soon.
So if you cut 2 RS accounts, that's half of that.
True. And also, it's probably worth noting that it's a $70 game on the Switch 2 as well. So it is a bit pricey. Like I would have probably bought this on release if it wasn't for that. But I was kind of like, I don't know if this game's exactly for me, so I don't think I'm going to immediately buy it. But I had a couple of friends tell me, dude, you will love this. And they were right.
Anywhere, $450 in America. But if you're in Australia, you get anywhere from $670 to $760.
But I do think Pokemon has been dealing with a similar issue with RuneScape with the engine, and that's why more recent games have been kind of not that great performance-wise. But this is a spin-off. This isn't the main series game. This is a completely separate engine. This is even a separate developer that actually made it. But I'm assuming they went with Switch 2 only, so this could just be a nice locked 60 FPS. There's no questions about that.
And there have also been, like, there's my understanding of it is that outside of the main Pokemon games, there's been a checkered history of whether or not those other games have found success, I think. When you compare something that found success like Pokemon Go versus some of the other ones. So, be interesting to see
the recent... and so far, it is currently the best-selling Pokemon spin-off game so far. It's 2.2 million sales in the first week.
Wow.
It's going crazy. It's doing really good, and it's kind of being predicted to do better than some of the main games recently have.
All right.
And I think a lot of people are seeing that as something that the Pokemon company really needs to pay attention to, because the main series of games is in a rough place, but Winds and Waves coming out next year and looks to be in a pretty good spot visually. It's just, we still have a year and a half until that probably, so it's hard to tell.
Excellent.
But yeah, it's an excellent game. If you have a Switch 2, you should definitely pick it up, 100%. Unless you just hate Pokemon.
I know people that don't like it, but
I would say, yeah, this probably isn't the game to introduce yourself to Pokemon with. I think having a bit of knowledge of some of them, so when you see one that excites you and you're like, oh, there's my old friend, that connection really, really does a lot in this game.
There's actually quite a few titles for the Switch 2 as well.
Yeah, so Switch 2 has quite a lot. It's been some mixed reviews on Nintendo's first-party releases so far. I know we're talking about this a lot, but Metroid Prime 4 seems to disappoint versus what people were expecting for it, and that game was quite sought after for a very long time, and it was one of the big ticket items for the Switch 2, and it kind of didn't do so well.
All right. Yeah. Well, good pick of the week. Thanks, Ant. Always nice having a pick of the week that people get behind and it's passionate and even goes back to one of the storied franchises that so many of us grew up with. So, thank you.
I'm a Nintendo nerd. I love talking about this stuff.
Excellent. If you want the episodes as they arrive each and every week, best way to do that is to subscribe. We're on all the major podcast listening services out there: Apple Podcasts, Pocket Cast, Spotify, Amazon, YouTube, all that and more. Just head on over to update.show/subscribe. If you do want to watch on YouTube, we do have the video versions of the show there that you can check out. And if you do watch those, like and subscribe. Helps the channel out a lot. And if you want to help out even more, leave a comment on that helps out so much, and we're just so appreciative of any interaction we get on that. So update.show/subscribe or youtube.com/RSBANDB. But that pretty much brings us to the end of the episode here. For better or worse, sandwiches included or excluded. Tanis, always good having you on, and I figure, I know you said nothing controversial, but the times that I asked you, we needed it because there's just a certain edge that you have,
Couldn't pass it up. Thank you, Shane. Good to be here again.
Of course, Pern as well. Thank you for the business aspect, and even when you have concerns, that speaks volumes for somebody like yourself.
It does, yeah. But we'll wait and see. It's early days, but we'll see what happens. Thanks again for having me.
And of course, Zant, you were supposed to be here for Dungeoneering. You got roped into so much other controversy, but thank you nonetheless for everything, Dungeoneering, and of course the monthly bit this week for those of you who have also listened to that. Always good having you, Zant.
I appreciate Tanis's edge for getting us through.
And with that being said, we'll see you guys next week for another episode of RSBANDB Update. See you then. Take care.
Yeah.
Happy Skyping all.